Hey guys. So, first off, I would like to make sure that y'all have some more practice with reading graphs. I noticed that after the exit ticket tonight, today's Tuesday, so after the exit ticket that we did today on graphing, I noticed that we needed some extra practice with that for sure. So, we're going to look at some together and reading them and talk about how that situation makes that, and then you're going to get to play a game to practice it. So this is only the first video though. The second video is going to be over something a little different since this is kind of like going over something we've already talked about. So we're going to be relating graphs to situations. So if we read this situation, we want to pick which one of these graphs best represents that. Before we start that at all, the first thing that's really key, important, and I think this is the reason that we had some issues on the other stuff, is to look at what our x and what our y is representing. So what our independent and dependent variables are. So if we look here, notice that on all of these, time is our x and temperature is our y. Time is our x, temperature is our y. Same thing here. So we need to make sure that we remember what those mean while we're reading this. So we're going to go ahead and read the first bit of this, and it says, the air temperature was constant for several hours at the beginning of the day. So we need to go ahead and see what that would look like if it was constant for several hours at the beginning of the day. So the very first thing that should be happening is a constant temperature. So if we look, we have time and then we have temperature. That means that as time is passing for several hours, we need it to stay a constant temperature. So I want you to pause the video and think about what constant temperature would look like based on temperature being the y-axis. Go ahead and pause it now. Okay, so now that you've had some more practice with this, you should realize that when I'm saying it's a constant temperature, that means that my temperature, my y, needs to stay the same. Well, if my y is staying the same, it needs to be straight across. So is this a constant temperature? If I look here, does this represent a constant temperature? Yes, it does. Very nice. Does this represent a constant temperature? Yes, the temperature is staying the same. This does not represent a constant temperature. If we look here, this temperature is increasing. The temperature is going up as the time passes. So right now I can go ahead and cross out. Graph C cannot be the graph that I want because the temperature didn't stay constant at the beginning of the day. So let's read the next sentence. Then rose steadily for several hours. So after I stayed constant at the beginning of the day, I want to rise steadily. Is this rising steadily? Yeah, pretty much rising at a steady pace. Is this rising steadily? Good. Also rising at a steady pace. So both of these are rising steadily after they stayed constant for several hours. So that means that we need to look on at the next part, because the next parts of these graphs are definitely different. So the next part says it stayed the same temperature for most of the day before dropping sharply at sundown. So we want to stay the same for most of the day and then drop sharply at sundown. So I want y'all to pause the video and decide which one of these graphs does that. Okay, so hopefully you picked a graph. The correct graph for this situation is graph B. If we look here, it stayed the same temperature for most of the day, so notice then the temperature, the y, stays the same. The temperature is staying the same even though time is passing, and then it is dropping sharply. Here, the temperature, once it reaches here at the time, it goes down most of the day. It's decreasing down here and then staying the same at the end of the day. So this isn't right. Whoops. This is not right either. So the correct graph would have been graph B. So we are going to play a game. If you go to the Edmodo and look for the link, you'll see a link there for the game. So this is the game. If you read the instructions, it'll give you very clear instructions on what to do. But I only have a few seconds left. I want you to see an example. So I want to pick up these two people and take them back. So I notice that I need to go up to the distance of 2. I need to stay there for at least 2 seconds to pick up those two people. And then I want to go back. So if I take my little truck, I pick up the people and I go back. So notice my time in seconds is passing. My distance, the bus stops, is going on. So I want y'all to play this game.